Here we go.
All right, episode 10 of Set to the Office.
Episode number 10, and can I just point out, because I feel like it's a milestone when you've done so many, you can't remember which one it is.
I know we had to go back and look, didn't
Yeah, you know.
Adventures of Tremendous Fat Ass is carrying on, and we have consistently for 3 weeks in a row now recorded on the same day or close to the same day. So that's good. But all right, we're here. We're ready to go. The last episode had significantly more listeners and viewers than prior ones, and so I don't know if the word's getting out, Dan, or I don't know what's going on, buddy.
I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't know, you know.
That's
I
good.
think it's your hypnotizing blue eyes, maybe.
Could it be? Are you looking at them?
I'm going to try and, when I talk, I'm going to pretend I'm like a piano player singing a love song, and maybe my audio will be better.
Yeah.
You know.
We're working on the audio. We're aware of the echo.
If I talk like this, Joel.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Okay.
We did a little
I
experiment.
won't be overly concerned if I see you,
Yes.
whatever, deep-throating your microphone.
Wow.
Yeah, I just
Wow,
went
that
there,
took a
didn't
turn.
I just went there. All right, well, let's change the subject from deep-throating. I noticed your T-shirt mentions Austin there, buddy.
This is turning into a thing. You have the beer thing, right?
I got the beer thing.
You were doing.
Yeah.
I noticed this is the same old beer that you had last time, though, right?
2 times ago, I think, but I had I think I had a Newcastle last week, and then 2 weeks ago I had this again. So
That's okay. I'm pretty sure I've probably worn the same shirt. But
I
this
don't
shirt I chose because a couple of my buddies are coming to visit, and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with us. We're both excited about it because,
Okay.
you know.
Yes, right.
Lance and Raymond, a.k.a. Giggles.
Giggles, and why do they call him Giggles?
Because that's what he does when he sees his buddies.
He laughs nonstop.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
You
almost,
can't not be happy around
It's not
Ray.
laughing what he does, though. It's giggling. It's a vibration.
It's a giggle. Yeah, it's a giggle. And you can't be in a bad mood around Ray because he giggles at everything.
Other than me, who have you met that's cooler than my friends in Texas?
Nobody.
They're the best.
They are.
Every single
They
one.
are.
So
the shirt is, just killing time until
yeah, you bought that for
I
me.
moved to Austin. I did buy that for you. Austin, Texas is great. In fact, I've been kind of, trying to sell the idea of Austin to Quinn for school.
I thought you were saying you're going to sell it to Marna to move there.
That's, it could happen, but, University of Texas in Austin, great school. They also have some other schools in Austin, and, Quinn does not want to stay in Iowa, but Austin is a very manageable drive,
Yeah, we
and
should
it's a
take
cool
her there.
town. Yeah. We actually
Stay
talked
at
about
Lance's and take her around town.
Yeah, we talked about just a few nights ago. We mentioned maybe a Christmas break, spending a couple days in Austin.
So I lived in Austin for about 6 years, but Texas for 10. And these friends of mine are all from the drop zone, and we just became really close. And
Drop zone is a skydiving term. So you have to explain this stuff. We don't have experts out there on. See, I didn't know the term drop zone the first time you said it. And I knew, but I figured it out in context because you're talking about skydiving. But you use all these fancy terms, Dan, but you don't explain them.
my mom, I think she still says that sky jumping. That goddamn sky jumping.
Sky jumping.
Yeah, she never was a real big
Yeah,
fan of that.
probably
But
not.
anyway, yeah, we got really close. And actually, at one point, when Sarah was pregnant with Samantha, Lance lived with me at my house. The pilot, Jerome, and another one of my friends, Tim Hanrahan, and we pretty much just called it Club 15103, which was my address because it was Party Central.
Oh yeah. I don't know how Sarah tolerated that.
Oh,
She's a saint.
Did you ever see that movie about Buddy Holly?
No,
Oh, that's a good movie.
I don't think so.
Seriously?
What movie?
That's what the line is from. You got to get them while they're young. Or no, it's not. It's Great Balls of Fire.
Okay, yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah.
You got to
I've seen that one. Yep.
get them
Get 'em while they're young.
raise them like a bird dog.
There you
go. She was baptism by fire, though. She stuck with me.
Right. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's
believe it.
awesome.
Your mojo must be strong.
Very.
Very strong.
So anyway, these guys are living at my house. Sarah's, pregnant with Samantha, and we were like a family. So
Yeah.
and you see that, I think, when you
Yep.
come and hang
Yep.
out with us.
Yep.
So
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Lance and Ray and Kyle's not coming, but that's okay. He's been to Iowa. He was just here. Well, when was the last time? Not last summer, the summer before, right?
yeah.
Okay. And
Did-
then we were there just a few months ago, and
You know what? Since we just came off Halloween, when Lance lived with us, when we
Yeah.
were all living there, we carved pumpkins for Halloween. Went and got them.
right.
Lance had a Dremel tool out. I had pumpkin. He'd never carved a pumpkin ever in his life.
What? He lived in Iowa.
I know. That's weird.
That is
you know.
weird.
So it was the first time he'd ever carved a pumpkin, but man, he got the power tools
Got it
out.
all
and-
over.
Yeah, it was awesome though.
Okay.
So yeah,
Looking forward to seeing those guys, and that's 2 weeks from tomorrow. Thanksgiving's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I know it.
That's crazy. Dan, you gotta understand. You know this. I have to travel because I go and I've got gypsy in me or something. I have to travel. I cannot, stay. Especially, and I love Iowa in a lot of ways, but
Yeah,
this time of year, I can't take it much longer. I'm breaking.
Joel, it's not even gotten.
I know, but it was 2 degrees yesterday,
I
and
know.
I'm breaking already, and so
Does that mean we're gonna have another winter where it pretty much feels like the surface of Mars half the time? Because that sucks.
I don't know. I mean, I just I do love Iowa, and I know that our 4 kids. I don't know how many of them will live in Iowa when they're adults, so we don't want to be too far away from them. But when the time comes, I'm going to be spending a couple of months out of Iowa. And that's part of the reason why we want to go to Cartagena, or we went to, Puerto Rico's not really an option for like spending a month or two because it's too expensive. But there are places, like if you look it up, retirement places for Americans that are super cheap. A lot of places in South America are on that list. So, but it's just something to think about. But I got to get out, man. I got to get on.
I know it. You're an adventurer.
I am.
That's
I
why.
love it.
That's why we click. That's
love
probably
it,
the
yeah.
biggest thing we have in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't really feel the need to travel. Your adventures are different. I like to travel.
Yeah.
I like to do that. So, but it's going to be good to see the fellers, and looking forward to that. We'll have to figure out what we're going to be doing.
Hey, speaking of adventures, I'm gonna tell my story about the deer.
Yeah.
Now, some listeners may not even know what this is about.
What a
but
deer
some people
is?
may be listening to
Some
this
people may
episode
not know what a
simply
deer
to
is.
hear this story.
Yeah.
Because I put the picture on Facebook and just I'm gonna share the story on the podcast. Of course,
Okay.
I've told about.
Okay.
I don't know how many people. A lot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try, and you know how they have those? You used to have those. Oh, that's so rude. Sorry about that.
Dan.
Man, hey, that's my buddy Nate. Speaking
Nate.
of Austin, I have to tag him. Nate, you're calling me during this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna answer it. That
Good.
would be kind of cool.
Put your phone away, Dan.
Okay, they had those movies though where they said, no horses were hurt in the making of this
Right.
movie.
Right.
I can't say that because this involves a hunting story. So I just want to put all the cards on the table.
Right. Right. But
and
we're
be
in Iowa. And
respectful of
most people
people's-
understand that hunting is
Yeah.
a thing.
I just don't want to catch anyone off guard because honestly, I'm meeting more people these days that are not only vegetarian, vegan.
Yeah.
You
Like
know.
my daughter.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be more respectful
But
of that.
but my daughter, even though she's a vegan, would not be outraged at your story.
No.
She,
no.
I mean,
Because she knows me.
We eat meat around her all
Oh,
the time,
right,
and
right,
it,
right.
that
Yeah,
doesn't bother
but
her.
you-
She's
this
not
is-
one of those that's like, oh my god, I can't believe you're.
Yeah.
She's like,
Well, this
doesn't
is,
care.
I do think that although it may sound like an oxymoron to some, there is a thing called ethical hunting, though.
Okay.
And I think it's important to try and not take a young buck when they haven't reached past their maturity. It's like the way nature has set it up. In nature, thankfully, it's not like this for us.
Right.
You have to fight to do the other, to mate. And so, but that's the way they keep the herd
okay.
strong.
That's the way they have to do it in nature, right?
Yeah.
So if it, yeah. So how would that work, Dan?
I'd hold my own. I mean, but
You think you're gonna get some of Marta? You're gonna go through me to get some of Marta? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well,
I
all
think
I'm
that's what
saying
you're trying to
is
say.
There's one buck who does most of the mating, and there's a reason for that because he's passing on his genes to the herd. And when you take a young buck before they've
Yeah.
reached that, he may, anyway,
Yeah.
that's
All
just
right. Dan,
something
you
I-
may go do that MMA shit, but you ain't getting through me. I'm just telling you. What's that? Yeah, if I get him down. But he may tap me out. I don't know. Whatever.
If he said the words, if he gets me down
If?
on the floor, you want to go on the ground with me?
No, not really. I don't.
Like that's your goal?
Not really. No. But I want to use my 70, 90 odd
Hey,
pounds against you.
Remember when you did the fake racer behind my head at school?
Yes.
That got crazy.
Yeah, you got pissed.
We got to find that video.
I know, that's pretty good.
Anyway.
All right, so you're hunting. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, this was anyway. I hunted that morning. I'm gonna tell the story, and I'm gonna try and do it justice. I'm not making any of this up. Really, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what happened. So hopefully it's I haven't built it up too much, but
You have, but it's going to be okay.
all right. So I hunted that morning. Is that on there now? No, it's not on there yet. Okay. All right. So that morning I hunted. I saw some deer, some bucks, and I was rattling at them and grunting. It's mating. So you rattle. It sounds like two antlers
Okay.
together. It sounds like there's two bucks fighting.
Can you do that sound for us?
I don't have that prop.
Oh, okay.
I have a rattle bag.
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
I used to carry actual antlers.
You know who else uses rattles? Babies. Anyway, go ahead with your deer story.
That's what you do too. You go. Yeah! I deserve that after that Dungeons and Dragon comment I had on your fantasy fake football.
That was pretty good.
Okay, they were just like, get to it. Okay, so they weren't really responding to any of that. But I saw that there were a lot of deer going out in this field. So I go up there, and I've been wanting to move a stand onto the cornfield, where
Okay.
I was at. It wasn't on the corn.
Okay.
The stand I have that's on corn, the corn isn't out yet, or, wasn't. I don't know if it is now. So I wanted to move another two-man that I had that's not on the corn to the corn. So I go up, and I start deciding if I'm going to do that. And as I'm walking over to the two-man where I wanted to put it, I walk by and I see this. Can you put it up there now? This is a rub, and it's what a buck will do when they're getting the ivory off their antlers, or it's also how they mark their territory.
Okay.
And the rub will tell you a little bit about the buck. And this
Okay.
particular rub right here is like deep and high, and I knew there's a bruiser making this. So for about 2 hours, I'm moving this two-man stand about 200 yards over to where I want it, which is about 10 yards, 15 yards from this. But it was a fence row, so it was hard to find a good tree, so I couldn't be too choosy. So when I finally got it up there, there's not very many shooting lanes, it's real thick.
Okay.
But I kind of like that myself because if you can't see them very well, they can't see you. That's the idea with the camouflage, is that it's the structure that you blend into.
Okay.
And when this is Bo, by the way, when I'm hunting
Bo
with my
who?
bow,
Like Bo and Luke.
just like a rifle, what you're looking at on the sight is
Okay.
rigged up to where the arrow is pretty much dialed in on that. It's a little bit different depending on if you're using 20, 30, or 40-yard pin. But
Okay.
if you've got a hole through the trees and it's in a spot where it mates up with the deer, you can take it. So
Okay.
anyway, so I go back to the camper, get myself cleaned up because I'm sweaty, scent is everything. So I go, and the camper from this stand is probably about 3/4 of a mile, I would guess. I don't know. I'm not good with that, but I know 4 laps around the track is 1 mile. That's how I kind of measure
Yeah.
things. So
How long does it take you to get there?
I don't know. I go slow.
Oh,
That's not a
okay.
good measurement.
Because usually you can walk a mile in 17, 18
Oh,
minutes.
no.
Okay, just
This is, yeah.
all right.
Anyway, so I
Thought
get
I'd just throw that
in
out.
fact, scent is so important that when I'm going back, I rigged up a scent drag, which is where you tie it to your boot. And I did it from a certain spot from this tree where I knew they might be coming out. And it's a deer estrus. It's a urine, literally, that's harvested from a doe who's in, yeah. And so
Who gets to follow that doe around waiting for her to take a piss?
I don't know how that works. I actually, but I don't want to digress here.
Hunting is very technical, more so than I ever expected. But
Yeah, well, it's
But the only thing I know about hunting, I learned from watching Looney Tunes, and
got to be very quiet.
yeah, that's all I know. That's
Well,
really
that
all I
part's
know.
true.
Okay,
you know.
you got to be very quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So you rig that up to your shoe.
Yeah, and it's mating season, and so I wonder if that's where that saying comes from. Chase and tail. You guys out there chasing tail, because that's what they're doing. That's why it's so dangerous to drive right now. Normally during the year, a deer will travel not very far from where they
Right.
bed down to their food source. During rut, they go miles and miles.
Yeah. When I was going to the high school the other night, I would guess 9 or 10 deer crossed the road right by Toad Valley High School.
Murph is smelling one of my props that I have for my
Murph.
story.
Hi, Murph.
Okay, so I get back to the stand. I'm there probably 1:32, and I sit there, nothing. And not until sunset do deer start coming into this field. And they're way over there. Oh, and I have a decoy set up. All right, a decoy looks like a buck. I mean, it's a decoy.
Okay.
It's got antlers and everything.
Okay.
It's koosh, right there. It's
Right there.
but it's light. You can move it around. And I put a bunch of buck spray on it, so the buck pee mixed in with the. Yeah, this is getting crazy. It's
Okay.
getting crazy.
Okay.
All right, so I'm rattling at these bucks way over there. I'm looking through the binoculars, just trying to get some reaction out of them. Really, I'm grunting this thing so hard it sounds like a low, like a buck grunting, like.
Very guttural.
It's a. I'm blowing on that thing so hard it sounds like a duck. I'm like trying to get, and I'm doing all that stuff, and all of a sudden I look over, and there is Big Boy,
So you were looking another direction, and
way out there, and he had come in upwind of me, and he's probably 15, 20 yards, and he is staring at that decoy with almost like a dog, the back of his neck, the hair is
Oh.
up. Yeah, they do this. And they walk almost kind of crouched, and I mean, he is just
kind of like
dialed.
on East Side Night at the State Fair.
Yeah,
kind
kind
of
of
like those
that,
guys walking around. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that. And another part of the story, when I first set that decoy up and I got up in the tree, there were these coyotes that came out. The coyotes down there are bananas. Crazy, crazy. Not just a pack. I mean, they're everywhere.
Are they wily?
They will make the hair on your arm stand up when
Okay.
you get going at night
Okay.
and you're alone in the camper. Anyway, so he comes, and I'm worried he's going to attack the decoy. He circles around. I miss where my shooting lane was, and he comes around, and he's actually kind of facing toward me, which is a very technical shot. I mean, seriously, I don't
Okay.
recommend it. Even from the ground, it's about a softball is what you've got to work with, and the angle of the tree stand changed. But he was so close, and I was confident with it, and I knew I had it. So I end up taking the shot, and he takes off. Now, this is the way it works. A strong, large animal will run, depending on where you shot him. You're trying to get a double lung or better, get the heart. And so that's why you're always aiming at a spot, and depending on the angle, that spot can change.
Okay.
And depending on what way the deer is facing. So he takes off running to the north. Okay, so he's running along that fence line that tree that rub is on, but I can't see all the way down the fence line. It kind of, this scrubby part comes out and hides a lot of it. And he went around that, and I couldn't tell if he had jumped the fence and headed back west, or if he continued north to this hardwoods. And so I wait and wait. You never want to go start blood tracking right away, which is the hardest
Why?
thing. You want them to. A lot of times they don't even know what happened. Depending on.
Well, they've probably never been shot with an arrow before.
Well, they know they don't feel well.
That's usually a one-time event.
It was like, oh wow, that.
What the hell?
I don't feel well.
Is that heartburn? I need
think
a
I'm
Rolaids.
going to lay down for a little bit.
something's
Which is
going on.
exactly what you want them to do.
Okay.
Which is why you don't go looking for them right away, because
They'll smell
once
you or
they
hear
lay
you.
down, they'll bleed out.
Yeah.
If you bump them when they're laying down and it has coagulated, they can still go a long distance,
Sure.
and then you can't find them. Happens, and it sucks. So you want to wait a good 2 hours.
That would be a tough thing to do.
Oof. But it was dark. And so I walked all the way back to the camper because the only light I had is the light that's on my quiver. It's this green light. It's not made for blood tracking. And so I go back and I get my light. Right here. This light right here.
Right there?
And I would say it had been 2.5 hours easy. So it took me forever to figure that question out. Did he jump across the fence or keep going? And it was real specky blood, which is not surprising based on how I shot him. And once I found out he didn't go across the fence, he kept going where I couldn't see towards the woods, then I started making some progress. And then once you get to those hardwoods, it starts immediately going downhill into the woods, right?
Okay.
And once he started going downhill, I'm finding a good blood. Like I'm very confident. I'm getting more confident the further down this hill I go. And it's dark, And as I get down there, it's getting more and more blood. And then I hear something. Now I'm all the way at the bottom where it kind of turns into this dry creek bed. It's kind of weird, though. There's weeds
A dry
there.
what bed?
Creek bed. Further, you further.
Okay.
Joel. Okay. I hear something, and I end up doing exactly what I said you don't want to do. I bumped him. He had been laying down. I got the light. I shine it over there. I see him walk over this little hill. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
we had a little technical difficulty.
Technical problem.
I think I got excited and messed my mic up. So
Yeah, I think it was a little murple.
we watched where I was. And so when I bumped him, I saw him walk over this little hill not very far. And so I decided I don't want to walk all the way back to the camper. There's a lot. I can see where he had been laying down. I do, like, once he goes over the hill, I go over here and I can see this. It's a lot. So I'm pretty confident, but I don't know. I just decided I'm going to lay down. And that feeling you have sometimes, you're not sure if you dozed off, and if you did, you're not sure how long you might have slept. That's kind of what I had. All I know is I had that feeling. So I don't know if I slept or not, but I could hear stuff in the woods.
He mounted you, didn't he?
It's very noisy. Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, I didn't mean to spoil
I did
it.
realize about that time that I had spilled a substantial amount of that estrus piss on me earlier when I had my scent drag going, and I'm doing this buck bomb piss that's spraying all over. I don't know. I did have a feeling, like a vulnerability, and I'm pretty much laying in blood. Okay.
Right.
Remember the coyotes that I was talking about?
Right.
So I decide, man, it's time. So I don't know how long it's been, but I decide I'm going to try and creep and follow where he went over that hill. And I head that way, not very far, and I hear something. And I shine the light up there, and I see the antlers. I see antlers coming back from exactly where he went. And they keep coming and coming right at me. They're coming. He's walking on a trail that is walking right up to me. But I have once again, the wind is out of the south. He's walking towards me from the west. I mean, he can't smell me. And he's looking right in the light, and they just see it probably like we would see an alien or something.
Sure.
I don't know. Like it's like it's just a light. They don't.
Yeah.
So But it's freaking me out, to the point where I'm starting to wonder what's going to happen here because he just keeps coming. And he literally gets about within 10 yards. And I am literally thinking about, okay, what tree can I jump in here or behind?
Because he can do some damage.
Well, I mean, he's a large animal. And I'm standing there, and I pull. All I had was this light and this knife. I brought my buck knife. And I pull it out. And
Is that why they call it a buck knife?
Yeah, exactly. And I unclip this thing because I'm feeling kind of scared. And I just let the sheath fall to the ground. And when it did that, he heard it, and he's staring in the light. And he just goes, huh, like that. And I'm like, but he's circling. Now he just wants to go around me. And he just keeps on walking. And I'm like, whew, wow.
Yeah.
And I was so freaked out. I was trying to see where the blood was coming, but by the time I thought to do that, he was going away from me, and I'd shot him from a front shot. But
could you see the arrow and everything?
No, I couldn't see. When he was walking towards me, I wasn't looking at anything other than his eyes and what tree I'm going to jump in.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
Anyway, I just decided, oh, man, I'm just heading back to the camper. I'm going to have to do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
At this point, I've done more harm than good in my mind.
Okay.
And so I head back to camper, go to sleep, and I wake up the next morning. I'm like, I got to go find that deer right now. Like the moment I woke up, it
was like Christmas morning.
Yeah, and I had my clothes on
jacked
already.
Up already.
So,
yeah.
So I head out there, and the way he had walked out was to the east, and I zigzag all the way through that field. It's where the cornfield kind of goes along a big finger of timber. And anytime there was a trail coming out, which there were quite a few, I would just look for blood and look down in there. I'm trying to find it. And I don't find any blood. And I'm just, oh my gosh, I just can't believe it. There's nothing worse. And so I decided I'm going to start all over, go to square one. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you guys do this. So I go back to where the blood started, follow it all the way to the point where I bumped him and he walked over. Okay. We had the face-off incident. And I blood track it through there, find it, and he had kept going. The deer I had the face off with was a different deer.
What?
And big enough that I mistook him for what I found, which was, you ready? Come on, drum roll. That big boy right
Look
there.
Look at that.
Yeah. He is an older deer, man. When I was saying earlier about,
venerable,
past their prime, yeah, he was missing two of his front teeth, and I was joking. I told my Uncle Pat, I said, Pat, I think he walked straight out of the tavern in La Villa and headed straight to your field. I take that back. I don't want to offend anybody. But,
no, it's fine. I don't think anybody from La Villa listens.
You never know. You never know.
Dude, have podcasts made it to La Villa?
I don't want to get shivved. I stop in La Villa every now and then. They probably got some hard pipe-hitting people there. You know?
They do.
Just shiv you.
Yeah, that picture, you look really tired.
Oh, man.
But you look happy, but you look tired.
Yeah. I don't take it lightly. To me, I know that I'm taking a life, but I do. We get a lot of enjoyment out of that deer meat.
And deer are they're like cockroaches in Iowa. There's
a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
That's an awesome looking.
Yeah,
buck.
It's amazing. He's amazing. So I'm having Swearingen's boys. They got their taxidermy business. Yeah. I'm having them do a Euro mount, and then I'm thinking about doing. They do this hydro dip now. You can do it yourself. It's really cool. I should have had you pull one of those up, but you dip it in this paint that you spray into this water, and it comes out. It's really cool looking. I'm thinking about. And you tape up the antlers. You just do it with the bleached out skull that you do base paint on.
Oh,
and I was
cool.
going to do Southeast Polk colors.
Oh, that would be badass.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
Good.
That's the story, man.
Okay.
And
that's
I mean,
a good
it's
one.
true. I mean, it's a little bit anticlimactic. I didn't, I know some people are out there thinking I was going to be Andy Dufresne with the sisters out there. The buck.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for you to wake up like.
Your reply text, or when I told you this, was that would have been poetic justice, actually.
It would have been. You would have deserved that. And let me give you some advice, Dan. Just let him finish.
Just let it happen.
Just let him finish.
Just let it happen.
It's better that way.
So yeah,
Wow, that's
it was
awesome, man.
crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, when your knife, what does the end of that do?
Well, when you're gutting a deer,
Yeah.
you I don't know if we should go through that. You use this for part of the butchering
Oh.
process and part of the gutting the deer
And then
process.
the sheath,
Yeah.
it's designed to kind of just
Yeah.
because you know what that when do that again with the sheath where it just kind of
Yeah,
comes
holds
off,
there.
it snaps up and stays on, and
Yeah, and you're supposed to put it in your belt. Loop,
Okay.
but I didn't. I just had a pocket in my pants.
so you
You know?
snapped it.
So
And just
I pulled it out of my pocket and I unclicked it and then I let it go to the ground.
that kind of
And I'm
reminded me of how Beck came into existence. Actually,
He's not paying attention. I don't know if anybody is really. They're like, that's the hunting story. That's the big whoop.
Can we go back?
you'll have to wait
Hey,
till you edit
feel how
to
sharp
get
this
that
is.
one.
Feel how sharp that bad boy is.
That is really sharp.
Yep. That's
You
what
can
we do.
split a hair. That's a good story, Dan. You
Yeah.
know, you have actually taken me hunting, but not, to that extent. I mean, we've kind of locally.
We've
and
done some hunts.
I suck at it.
We
and-
went to the farm. We did a coyote hunt.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Wiley. We were hunting Wileys.
I would go back. I would do that. I'd go
Yeah.
back. So we should try that. But I just
It's peaceful to me. You know.
Yeah. It's kind of cold out. But you bring a couple of steaks, cook up a couple of steaks while you're there.
No.
What?
Oh, you mean like?
In the camper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all good.
Probably wouldn't work with deer though.
Why? They smell it?
You're gonna cook steak in the camper where you're sleeping that night. Then you're gonna go hunt.
They smell
the
that?
scent.
Oh.
Yeah, you got no scent
do you
at
eat?
all. I keep my clothes in a scent lock bag. I use special soap and shampoo. I use detergent and yeah, you gotta.
Dan, I
eat.
don't-
There's plenty of food you can eat without smelling like a steak.
I don't like. Well, it sounds. The biggest part. I don't like to be dirty.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
that's the problem. So
I don't
but-
really.
so
mind.
that's a good one. So now and that's a tag. How does that work?
Yeah, you tag it.
And then you have how many tags?
You get one any sex tag, which is your buck tag. You could technically use it for a doe,
Right.
is why they call
Okay.
it any sex. And you get one per season. So bow season is where I take a buck tag, and then you could have one other during another season. So if I wanted to do shotgun, which I don't, I got some buddies that always want to go. I don't like it. I do like doing muzzleloader.
Okay.
So and they have an early season and a late season, so you can get two buck tags, I think.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't usually get a buck. I get plenty of doe.
Yeah.
But I'll pass on a lot of
Okay.
bucks.
Okay.
And yeah.
I can't
Sometimes
wait.
I pass on does when it's a lot of work.
Right.
If
Right.
you just want to sit out there in the woods.
Yeah. Well, when you, by the way, Swearingen Taxidermy.
Yes. Is
Which
that what
is-
it's called?
Yeah, we'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's the name of their company.
Good.
They do excellent work because I've seen their pictures on
Yeah.
Facebook, and of course Jim is a great guy, and his boys are good boys.
They were
and,
really cool. I talked to
yeah.
both of them when I
yeah,
went there.
and
So.
they work hard, and so if anybody out there is listening and they hunt and they want to, if they need some taxidermy services, look into Swearingen Taxidermy and we're not getting paid to promote them, but they are
Yeah.
good people and they do good work. I've seen them. It's amazing what they can. The fish is what I don't understand how they can do that.
I don't think it's the actual fish.
What are you talking about?
I think when you get a fish mounted, it's not the actual fish.
Well, then what's the point?
I don't have any fish mounted.
Maybe we need to get Jim Swearingen out here on the podcast to talk about it.
The turkey I got mounted, I almost didn't do it because I wasn't going to get the meat.
No?
And I'm like, I don't know if I should even bother with this.
Yeah.
And it was a huge turkey. And the taxidermist said, go down to Hy-Vee and buy a butterball. You'll never get a turkey like this again.
Right.
And so I was like, okay.
Okay.
you know.
I'm going to smoke a turkey on Friday, buddy, because we have 4 turkeys in our freezer right now. that we gotta start doing. So,
Right on.
but I didn't kill it.
It's all right.
Somebody else did.
Wild turkey's not that good.
Yeah. So good story. Hunting sounds. I mean, it sounds interesting to me. But Dan, just hanging out with you is the part that would be fun to watch you get all jacked up about this stuff. I mean, that's good. And getting out of the house a little bit, getting out of my chair. So.
Right on.
But it's not going to be for a while because I
love taking people, honestly.
Yeah? Okay.
Just not during probably rut. You know, that's the real deal right there. You don't. That's like you're gonna go for a fishing trip and you go out there like in the deadliest catch where they're going.
Right.
They're going where the fish are. You know.
Yeah. Right.
But.
Well, it would be a while before. I don't know what the camera exactly is picking up, but the studio, the podcast studio.
I'm impressed.
It's a mess right now because I'm at the tail end of completing some fairly major home projects.
Yeah, that's the part I'm impressed with.
And I talked, I think I mentioned before, my cousin Eric Cepeda, who also does great work, by the way, if you need some home projects done.
What's he do?
Well, that's kind of what he does. He can do it all. He can do floors. He can do roofing, walls. I mean, he can do whatever you need done. And I called him up and told him I was going to replace the floor upstairs, and he came over for a few hours for a couple of days and kind of helped me through it. And then about done with the baseboard, cutting the baseboard and the quarter round for the upstairs.
We should put anytime we give someone a shout out, you should put their contact information in like under the link.
I should. I should.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. But yeah, Eric does great work. He didn't want to take any money from me, and but I was gonna have to pay somebody because I don't know what I'm doing, Dan. I don't know how to do anything, but now I know how to do it. So I just did the basement, which is off camera, but put in some plank flooring instead of carpeting on one side of the basement. And I got to finish the job tomorrow with the trim and that kind of thing. But I am not in shape to do this stuff. And right now my knees are killing me, my hamstrings, from bending all the time and, kind of leaning over. So even if you invited me to hunt, it's going to take me a few days to get.
Oh, man, I felt like I've been in a car wreck for
It sounds like you just did a
just
crap
dragging
ton of
that
walking.
guy. I had to drag it like maybe 15 yards just to get it to where I could hook it up to the four-wheeler and just, he's
I bet.
so heavy.
Yep. Well, so hopefully tomorrow this place will look a lot better.
It looks good. What you've done looks great.
I'm not good at this stuff. You're good at this stuff. I'm not good at it.
It's all on the internet, man. I don't feel like I'm good at it. I screw stuff up, but the more you do anything, you're going to get better.
Right.
So.
Right.
Anyway.
Yep. So
that's good, though.
That was good. Yeah. So working on that, and I'm learning a lot about how to do these types of things. But tomorrow that'll be good, and then I'll feel that pride, that sense of accomplishment when I, walk into my beautiful new floor, and
makes the wife happy too.
She is very happy because I will never have carpet again because carpet is so bad.
Yeah, carpet pretty much sucks.
It stinks.
Well, if you ever do
Especially
your
with
own
pets.
floor like you're doing,
when
you take that carpet out and you take the pad out, you're like, ugh.
It's disgusting.
I will never have
it's
carpet
It's so
again.
gross, and that's exactly what I said, especially with pets too. So, so working on that, and that about covers it. I did want to mention that. What time are we at?
Probably.
Huh?
I would guess like 30.
Because we had to stop.
Oh, right.
Stop.
I did get some feedback from last week's podcast, which more so than normal, and which was good.
So like one.
One would be a start. Actually, I would say 6 or 7 people reached out to me, either through email or Facebook, and asked me some questions about the hearing loss and tinnitus, and either they have hearing loss or tinnitus, or they know somebody who does, and that was great. And I really feel like I know a lot about these things because I've had this problem for so long. So it was great that people wanted.
It always is better when people who have that commonality get together.
I got some questions from people about how it was to work under with these issues, and whether or not at Southeast Polk they were worked with me on these things, and yes, they did, and I thought that was something I should mention, that this is people go to work with all kinds of different issues, and sometimes employers aren't very accommodating, and of course educators should be accommodating because we accommodate for students. So yeah, so it was some good positive feedback, and some questions and things, and which I thought was good. And I think we're kind of getting toward the end of it, so I don't know if I want to. There were some other issues that were brought up, and maybe I'll wait for another podcast for them to come up, because we don't want to, the attention span of our listeners, Dan. I think we can't go over, 40.
What'd you say? I wasn't listening.
Right.
Actually, I do have a really bad attention span. Anybody that knows me knows that.
I know. So
a lot of, there's people that don't know me that listen to this podcast, and that's kind of weird.
I know.
Kind of cool.
I know. It is.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's about that time where I tell you, Joel. I do always end it with "I love you," but right before that, I always say, "Go fuck yourself."
And I say you can do the same. All right. Thanks, Danny.